Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. I'm Van, and we are all the LFR family. Thank y'all so much for clicking play. Hopefully, you click the like button as well. I appreciate y'all joining me on this live stream today. It means the world to me. You could be doing anything else and preparing for Super Bowl and all those other things, which is amazing. So make sure y'all go ahead and do just that. But the fact that you're it mean a lot to me. When you pull up, please make sure you let me know how God has blessed you and your family. All right, that's it. Just let me know how God has blessed you and your family. What's going on, Thunder Heart? How you doing? How's God blessed you and your family, FJB? Really? That's how you pull up on a Sunday, FJB? That's the very first thing you say is FJB. Hello from Illinois. What's going on, Kathy? How are you doing? All right, guys, we're about to go ahead and jump into this. I'm not going to be here for a long time because we also have Super Bowl things that we're doing. I got to pick up, food, grub, and all these other things. But there's some this DEI topic is starting to separate us all over again, and I get it. Um, there's a bunch of people who want to put measures in place in this country so that there could be some fair activity going on, so certain people can get opportunities. And this Charlie Kirk said something on the Candace Owens show the other day. No, not on the Candace Owens show. On another, he was on another podcast, and what he said made some people extremely angry. We're going to cover that. We're going to talk about Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk about Thomas Sowell. We're going to show Thomas Sowell actually in an interview a long time ago, I think back in the 80s, where he's talking about DEI, diversity. And we're going to also talk about, we're going to check out some Stephen A. and Roland Martin talking about it from a super black perspective, super left perspective, which is necessary for us to hear. Whether you agree with it or not, it's good to listen to both sides of every conversation so you can know exactly where you stand. Because a lot of us have been in our echo chambers for a long daggone time, and it's time for us to get up out of there. So after I finish hollering at everybody that's showing up in the comments section in the chat, then we gonna get it popping. So thank y'all so much. As you saw my very first message, please let me know not only where you're from, let me know how God has blessed you and your family. That would be absolutely dope. What's going on, Yazir? Good morning to you as well. Shout out to Sweden. We got Sweden up in the house. We got Las Vegas. Well, Yazir is from Las Vegas, told me that as well. We got MH Caffey. Who else? We got Jackson, Vocalizer. What's going on? FJB. Yeah, let's go, Brandon. Y'all are some jerks, man. I swear. Hey, Hazel Eyes and Lisa Marie, how y'all doing? Hey, and make sure y'all hit the like button too. That would really help this live stream go well. And we're not going to be spending a whole lot of time talking today, although I do want to make sure that y'all are all blessed. Make sure that you all thanked God today for just waking you up this morning. Thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. Thank you, Lord, for my health and my strength. Thank you, Lord, for my family, my friends. Thank you, God, for anyone. This something I say. Thank you, God, for anyone who have my best, me and my family's best interests at heart. Thank you, God, for blessing me with a more clear idea of my purpose on this earth. Thank you, God, for this platform and new friends from all over the world. Thank you, God, for being able to speak, being able to hear, being able to taste, being able to enjoy water, warm water in my household, electricity, a roof over my head. There's so many different things that you can thank God for. And I know some of you probably don't want to hear that, but that's not my business. Wherever I go, I'm going to tell people how God has been blessing me and my family. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praises will continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord, and the humble shall hear thereof and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me and let us exalt his name together, because God is amazing. God is absolutely amazing. Am I glad I didn't quit? Yes, I'm glad I didn't quit. There's no quitting when you got work to do, man. God told me my job is not done yet. What's going on, Joe Johnson? What's up, Joe Johnson? Good morning, LFI. What's going on, Joe Johnson? Hey, guys, when you pull up, hit that like button for me. Hit the like button for me. That would be absolutely amazing. Also, want to know who you're rocking with today for the Super Bowl game, all right? who you rocking with today. Let's go Chiefs. Okay. All right. Happy, happy, happy. Don't forget, guys, make sure y'all are thanking God for breath. Gil, I see that. Thanking God for your breath, for your health, for your strength, for friends, for loved ones, for experiences, for being able to just know what love feels like, even if you don't have it today. Having the best memories possible. Even though you don't have the same loved ones in your life today, you might have lost them along the way. They might not even be here on this earth anymore, might have passed away, moved on. But thank God for being able to experience them, have conversations with them, you know what I mean, be able to learn from them and love on them and be loved by them. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the first. DEI has been doing a number on a lot of people in this country. So what we're going to do first, we're going to touch on Candace Owens. Candace Owens started out by telling us, is going to tell us exactly why we're having this conversation in the first place. All right. Then we're going to show some individuals who are giving their take of Candace Owens. And they really don't like the way Candace Owens said it. So y'all are going to be pissed off in the comment section, but that's why we're grown, man. We're supposed to be having these type of conversations, all right? And don't run away from it because I got to be in it, so you should be in it with me. You said that you're part of the LFR family, so let's rock. Let's do this. Also, before I start, I just want to say for all of the 5 people, just 5 people that went and purchased this book right here, As Backwards Way to Move Forward, in the very first link below inside of my descriptions, thank you so much for purchasing the book. Hopefully you really enjoy it. Everyone else that clicked on the link and didn't purchase, that's okay too. Hopefully next time you click on the link, you actually do purchase because it's going to be a blessing for you and your family. Trust me on that one. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. First up the bat, we got our girl, Candace Owens, and then we're going to, matter of fact, we're not going to do Candace Owens first. We're going to touch on some Thomas Sowell, breaking this down first, all right? Thomas Sowell is going to have a heart-to-heart conversation about diversity, all right? DEI is what we're talking about. It's important that we have these conversations because we're deaf, dumb, and blind to the other side of the world who are having these conversations but have a different point of view. And since we're walking around in our own echo chambers, we can care less about what they're talking about. We need to hear what they're talking about in order to have some informative and educational conversations that can help us all. All right. So before we move forward, I just want to say thank you so much for clicking play. Hopefully you click that like button as well. Let's check this joint out. Here's Thomas Sowell.
So you can't see any positive
I'm sure.
contributions to affirmative action.
I don't doubt
that in fact it increased the pool, as you know, is frequently used. The expression of what affirmative action can do is increase the pool of.
I don't know what that means, and I've never had anybody explain it to me. I've studied affirmative action in this country, in India, in Malaysia, you know, in Sri Lanka, in Nigeria. They have some version of it in Israel.
Well, I'm going to explain it as it was explained to me. It is the notion of, let's say you're on the admissions committee at Harvard. And you're going to choose so many people. You're going to let people in for a variety of reasons. One is sheer academic merit. They scored 1,600 on the college boards. That's a good entry. They've got a brilliant academic and athletic background, and they happen to be a virtuoso violin player. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And the violin player helps.
Yeah.
Or let's say they come from Nevada, and they don't have a lot of Nevadans at Harvard. And let's also say that they come from Sri Lanka.
And don't leave, guys, because this right here is about to get real good, man. I'm trying to tell you, the videos that's coming out of this bad boy after this bad boy might upset you, but it's worth it because we need to have these conversations.
I have many people from Sri Lanka there. And let's also say that they also are African American. And that ought to be a factor in choosing from that pool. Maybe that's one of the considerations.
Because what?
Because diversity of a student body is a healthy factor.
I'm fascinated with the extent to which words, we're conditioned to react like Pavlov's dog to words. I hear diversity. Someone was asking...
Don't make me look bad, Professor.
Someone today who was a trustee of a college was saying that they were going to pick a new college professor. I said, what you should do is have a stopwatch there and just count how long it is till each of the contestants says the word diversity. And the guy who says it, you know, he's 35 minutes into the interview, and the other guy who says it, you know, the first sentence, the guy who takes 35 minutes, he should be at the top of the list. The guy who said it the first sentence should be at the bottom. Because the question is,
what's wrong with diversity? I don't get the point.
My point is that this is a word that has become magic. What does it mean, if anything? Are you saying to me that all black people are alike, therefore you've got to mix and match by race?
I hear that, right? This is why I'm playing some Thomas Sowell talking about this. Because Thomas Sowell will give you an old school perspective. He will give you an understanding of, no, let's talk about accountability. Let's talk about doing what you have to do in order to be recognized, doing what you have to do in order to get the job, doing what you have to do in order to get the grade, doing what you have to do in order to attend certain universities, just doing what you have to do, depending on you. If you don't get the job, you get another one. You don't get this, you don't get to go to this school, you go to another one. So this is where Thomas Sowell is coming from. The first person that throws it out there as a hook line, as a hook, they are trying to use this as a crutch, is what he's saying. But this, trust me, we are here not to take a position. We are here to have a better understanding, and we're also here to have a conversation based off of other people's perspectives and understandings. That's the only way we can move forward. To me, there's no such thing as fair. It just isn't. It's not a such thing as fair. All right? I'm 45 years old. I would like for there to be some fairness, but that's not how life works.
It's not diverse unless it's diverse along these dimensions.
I'll tell you what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think that it would be different to have people of different kinds of experiences. And we mentioned Sri Lanka, didn't we? And, you know, and it'd be interesting to have some people with an Asian background. Wait, an Asian background, African American.
Hey, Susie.
People that come from Fifth Avenue and Park Avenue, as well as from Henderson, North Carolina. All of that would make a healthy student body.
You mean to tell me?
I don't think everybody ought to come from sons of Harvard graduates.
Places like Harvard and Stanford and Cornell. What you have is the black son of the black doctor, who lived in the same neighborhood with the white son of the white doctor.
No, I got it.
And now you're giving me diversity because these two people
well,
are out in
no,
someplace.
not necessarily. They have scholarships that they offer to kids who are not the son of a
But now we're getting away from the whole racial thing. I'm saying the racial thing has been used as a proxy for something that is not a proxy for, because the vast majority of blacks who go to places like Harvard and Cornell and Stanford are not blacks from the ghetto. Those are blacks from out there. You know, they're from Malibu. You know, they're from Pacific Palisades. They're from Winnetka and so forth. And they're from the very same neighborhood.
I love the fact that he is schooling him on this, because he's letting them know that the people that's from the hood, they can't afford to go to these schools. They're not in close proximity of these schools. So that's not, when people start using diversity, they're not talking about them. They're not talking about them at all. They're not talking about the super brainiacs that grew up in a household with a mom and dad and went to really good schools their entire lives. They're not talking about them at all. So don't bring them up in this conversation. It's not even, it's pointless, actually. But this conversation is about to get real deep, real heavy. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, because it's the reason why I started off with Thomas Sowell. Is because he's more grounded. He has more wisdom. He has more patience. He's not going to raise his voice and start attacking people. That's not what he do. That's not his style. It hasn't been his style way back then. Still isn't his style. So this is why we're starting off with some Thomas Sowell. And then we're moving on to some Candace. And then we're moving on to some Stephen A. and Roland Martin. Now, if you know anything about Roland Martin and Stephen A., then you know this show is about to get real black on you. So if you are allergic to blackness, then you might want to leave. All right? But I would advise not to, because the whole point of this is to get an understanding. Now, some people are going to approach it from an ignorant point of view, but even that is subjective. Like, because you don't understand them, it's going to be ignorant. Or because you don't agree with them, it's going to be ignorant. Or because they're taking one side and not trying to understand the other side, well, that's ignorant. That's ignorant. Whenever you take one side and you're not even attempting to understand the other side, that to me is ignorant. All right, let's go, Thomas.
They're from the very same neighborhoods as the whites are there. And so now you call it diversity because you see something with the naked eye.
That's right. All right. So that right there was Thomas Sowell having a conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right. That's what we're talking about right now. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right. And it starts with conversations of affirmative action. Affirmative action being one of them. Reparations being another. You start looking at. I was watching. I like to watch football and basketball a lot, mostly basketball, and I'm starting to see way more black coaches. And I'm like, okay, far more black coaches. Okay, cool. I mean, all right, that's cool. I noticed that. But then I do question, why is there so many black coaches? I do question that. Why wouldn't I? Because this country we are in is so racial that a lot of times if we don't question certain things, we're wrong for it, right? Well, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, they tried to question this too. And now for the last week or so, Charlie Kirk has been called racist and all these other things. And honestly, and you're going to see for yourself, and I think Charlie Kirk is extremely intelligent, but what he said was ignorant. What he said was it was out of touch. It was there was a clear disconnect in what he said. And sometimes we can be so comfortable in our thinking that we will probably splurt out something that makes absolutely no sense to other people because we didn't explain it with any context whatsoever. We just put out that punchline, but the meat of the conversation was necessary and you didn't give us that. So the punchline came off as extremely disrespectful, extremely racist, or whatever the case may be. All right. So you're about to see that for yourself. But the reason why I played this Thomas Sowell is because this guy is extremely intelligent and he will break it down to you on a level that most people cannot understand. So they just have to sit and listen to him give his breakdown. And if you didn't hear that on this one, hopefully you hear it on the next one. So for now, let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way to the next video. All right, we're about to move on to the next one. Let me see what my people are saying inside of the comments, man. Shout out to T. I don't go live a whole lot, and I'm trying to make sure that I go live a little bit more. And I will go live a lot more if you guys show up. If you guys show up, I'm going live. If you show up every day, I will go live every day. All right? And if you show up in abundance, like show up and start hitting the like button and communicating in the chat and just helping me out with my understanding too, because one thing people don't understand, I just now interviewed with this young guy, Dave Vaughn, really cool guy. And when I interviewed with him, he said that I was a reporter, like I was reporting on news. A lot of people were finding out things up front from me. Like the first time they were hearing anything about policy or about left or right wing politics, they were hearing it from me. And I was like, I hope that's not the case, because I'm learning on the fly. All I'm doing and other reaction channels are doing are learning on the fly. So please don't look at us as the experts on any of these topics, because we are not. All right. If I ever present myself as an expert on any topic other than being a man, being a father, and being a husband, I'm an expert in those topics. Yeah. Being a man, being a husband, and being a father. Yeah. I'm an expert in those. 1000%. So whenever I'm talking about family, I can speak with my chest out, my back squared, and no problems, no apologies, no nothing. All right. I won't stutter, mutter, or utter when I'm talking about being a father, a husband, or a black man, or a man, period. Okay? But when it comes to this politics stuff, I'm learning on the fly. And most of your content creators that you love, they're also learning on the fly. So please don't ever look at me as a subject matter expert when it comes to politics, okay? When it comes to YouTube, I may know a lot more than a lot of you guys know when it comes to growing a channel and doing those other type things. And speaking of, if you're ever thinking about reaching out to me to join what we got going on, then please hit me up with the word coach, like a lot of you have been doing. Here's my contact information right here, going across the bottom of the screen. Now here we go. I'm a little ahead of. All right, there you go, right there. Hit me up with the word coach if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, if you already have a YouTube channel and it's just not growing, if you got ideas but you don't know where to start, if you don't know what to use, if you don't know what editing softwares to use, or cameras or anything like that, this is one thing I will tell you. The best camera you can use is the one that you carry around in your pocket everywhere you go. That's your cell phone. Your cell phone is probably the best camera that you can use for any of your content that you create, okay? So if you're ever dealing with anyone who's trying to give you advice on how to move forward as a content creator and they do not tell you to use your phone, then move on. You don't need to buy a new camera. You don't need to buy a new computer. You don't need to buy new software to edit. You don't need to buy any of that. Everything you need is free. It's free. Most computers come with free software to edit. Most computers come with that. All right? Most computers come with software to, well, not even the software, but there are sites you can go to and apps you can download on your phone that you can do your thumbnails on. So you can use your phone for anything. All right? All right, let's move on to the next. Let me see what my people are saying. My apologies. Well, consider me a DEI expert because I heard all I need to hear. Shout out to AJ Rife, who is a DEI expert. Let me see. Ross Stevens must say something good. There's only the human race. We just have various levels of pigmentation. I agree. Various levels of pigmentation. I like how you put that. What's going on, Payco X? I appreciate you pulling up. And hopefully y'all click the like button while y'all was here. And shout out to all my blues, all of my mods. Thank you so much for pulling up. All right. Now we got some Candace, who's about to explain what Charlie Kirk said that I thought was foolish. I thought it was really dumb what Charlie Kirk said. I thought he should have provided far more context before saying what he said. That's just me, though. Thank y'all so much for clicking play. I'm Van. We are all the LFR family. What we'll be jumping into today is the whole DEI conversation and how Charlie Kirk and Candace started it. They started something. People in the left, Democrats, are having a field day with the information that's being put out right now from Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens about diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right, so let's jump into it. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments. Let's get it.
Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA has come under a lot of fire. He's been trending for about 4 days over a remark that he made, which people are calling racist. Charlie Kirk has a show that is called Thought Crime, and they were talking about DEI policies, you know, the idea that we should just be hiring people on the basis of them being black, on the basis of them being a female. And particularly, he was discussing this as it pertains to pilots in the air. Take a listen to what Charlie Kirk said and why he's catching some heat.
Now, before we move in any further, I just want to say this. I don't think anybody should be hired based off of what they look like or based off of the ethnicity or race that they were born. I don't. I do think that there should be some course correction in whatever case you want to course correct. But I don't think that the way that they're doing it is the way that we should do it. Because a lot of people are getting jobs and they're overlooking any of their qualifications simply because they are black. I just now watched a movie called American Fiction. If you have not seen that movie, it's absolutely hilarious. It's on Apple. The movie is hilarious, man. I would love for y'all to watch that and we have a conversation about it. But the whole point of the matter is they needed to set up a panel of individuals they was giving an award to the best author, the best new author writing books and whatnot. And they called up this guy and said, well, we want you to be on the panel because you're this phenomenal author and blah, 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 blah. But the most important reason why we need you on the panel is because you're black. Like, well, okay, thanks for telling me that. Anybody invite me to anything simply because I'm black? My answer to you is kiss my ass. Respectfully. I don't want to be invited to anything simply because I'm black. I don't want to be paid to do anything simply because I'm black. I don't want to be hired as anything simply because I'm black. I'm not in the business of meeting quotas. That's just me. I have a bit more pride with me, all right? I let you in this company because you're black. I let you come to this university because you're black. I gave you a little bit more money because you're black. No, that's disrespectful to me. And I think, this is just me, I think any person should feel disrespected if they are approached with an opportunity or something good simply because they are different from what we already have. You're a woman, so that's why we're going to hire you. You're a woman, that's why we're going to give you a raise. You're a woman, you're black, you're Hispanic, you're this, you're different from the rest of the people we have working here. No, if I'm here, I would much rather achieve whatever's next or move on to the next level with my own work, with my own work ethic, with my own hustle, my own grind. That's just me. Is that realistic? No, it's not realistic. Only reason why it's not realistic is because most people want to be given something. They want to be handed something. I don't want to be handed sugar honey iced tea at all because God is already great to me. God is phenomenal to me. And I don't need your help moving to the front of the line simply because I was born a different color. Because what you're doing, you're automatically assuming that I need your help. You're automatically assuming that I'm handicapped in some way, shape, or form, which I am not. This is the stuff that's killing politics right now. We are literally hiring people to be the next president or vice president or whatever simply because they are black. Simply because they're black. And if Trump starts to do that, I'm going to be honest with you. If Trump takes a liking to somebody to run as his vice president simply because they are black, I will no longer support Trump the way that I do. I'm just keeping it a buck. I get it. That's the way the game is played. We can get more black votes if we put a black person on your ticket. Nah, man, that's playing games with the American people. That's treating us all like we're stupid. And I don't think we're stupid. Unless you are. I mean, if you are and you need that, you need to be massaged because you're a different ethnicity as everyone else, then that's your business. I'm not for that. I'm a grown man. That's not how life works. Anyway, let's move into this. We about to hear what Charlie Kirk said.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that. No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
And that right there is the part. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Now, with the way that we are always stressing inclusion, equity, diversity, I can understand why that will be the thought on some people's minds, right? I get it. I get it. For real. I get it. Oh, man, we got a black pilot. Most of them usually white. I wonder if he was hired because of his race and not because he's good, not because he's qualified. That's what I wonder. You have a right to wonder that, especially with how crazy this damn country has been since its discovery. Let's say that. This country has been crazy since its discovery, just like any other country. That's something that we need to consider too. Every country since its beginning has been nuts. Nuts. Even when you look in the Bible, those times have been nuts. Like the beginning of anything is going to be turmoil. All right? But when you say stuff like this, it's like you're missing, like you're disconnected. It's like you're foolish, like I'm going to let him finish, but this is the thing that he said that everyone grabbed and like, oh, what? Whoa.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
So you can see why the left loved that clip and why they're now calling Charlie Kirk, who I worked for and with for years, an avowed racist. He says that that's going to be his first thought if he sees a black pilot. And you know what? I said the exact same thing on this show just a couple of weeks ago. I remarked that now when I even am watching a commercial, if I see a commercial and I see a black person, and a Hispanic person, and an Asian person, my thought process is, did they just get this because DEI?
Now, the way that the left press this issue all the time. Well, first of all, let's talk about why they press this issue, right? They press this issue because of 1619. That's why they pressed this issue. They pressed this issue because of Jim Crow. They pressed this issue because of black people being hanged on trees. They pressed this issue because of the civil rights movement. They pressed this issue because whites only. And you understand? Let's not lose common sense and understand why people are pressing this issue. All right? Y'all understand why they pressing this issue? Okay, now let's move forward. It's no longer like that. It's whether or not people are still locked in with their racist ways of thinking and they only want to hire white people, then let them only hire white people. I'm with Jesse Lee Peterson on this. If you only want to hire people that look white, then maybe working for you is not for me. Maybe going to your university is not for me. Maybe befriending you is not for me. So I understand why people are pressing it like we needed to be a little bit more fair because only white people are getting opportunities. Well, I don't know that to be true. I think it's exaggerated because we are always using the same tired excuses of black people not getting the opportunities that they're supposed to get, black people being impoverished, black people not having this, black people not having that, black. Not considering the fact that the only reason why Trump won the way that he did and why he's so beloved the way he is because he came in the door and started representing a people that was disenfranchised regardless how they look. Because something that we don't understand is, as many poor and disenfranchised black people as there are probably double or quadruple that in the white community. All right? And no, I am not the black man that's up here taking up for the white community. No, I'm talking about if you want to be fair, you at least need to consider that. Because black people think that white people are not broke. Black people think that there's no such thing as a white ghetto, a white hood, white broke people, white people that's strung out on drugs, white people that's down bad, white people whose families are in disarray. We think that that's only a black thing. And for a black person to accept that as facts, that's disrespectful. Don't ever point that in my direction. Don't ever look at me and say because I'm black that I'm dealing with what you consider all blacks to deal with. No, not at all. Not one bit. So we need to get that out of our rabid minds. Another thing, Candace. Candace is friends with Charlie Kirk, right? Candace understands his mentality. Candace also understands the reason why he said that is because of how much the left want us to disregard somebody's abilities, but put their race before that. Like, we get that you're trying to make a better opportunity for people who you say are from underserved communities. But the way you're doing it is disingenuous. It's dismissive of those people who actually work hard and bust their ass on a day-to-day basis and make the decisions and choices that they make. We don't always need a hand up. I don't need a hand up. I don't need any of that. If you want to help me out, give me $1 million. Go ahead. And let me do with it what I will. Okay? You don't have it? Then I'm good. I don't need anything from anybody. Let me work for it. I actually feel better when I work for it. You understand? All right, let's move back in.
I no longer think the person is qualified. Way back when, just a few short years ago, when I used to watch movies and I used to see a black character, I always just thought it's because he's a great actor. Denzel Washington, one of the greatest actors of our time. Like, he's amazing, obviously. But
and they mad at her for saying that. She's saying that we're already great because we're just great at what we do, period. Not because we're black. Not because we're black. Come on, guys. We diminish ourselves by constantly speaking this rhetoric, bro.
But now my experience has changed because I recognize that we no longer live in a meritocracy. And I'm thinking they hired that person because they had to fulfill the quota. Oh, we must have at least X amount of black people. And I don't think that they deserve to be in those spaces anymore. And it makes me upset that that's my thought process when I see a commercial and when I see a movie. Is this person actually even a good actor, or are they just checking a box? But unfortunately, that is the reality of what happens when it comes to DEI. And what he is remarking on is true. I would be terrified if I got onto a plane and I saw a woman flying the plane. And I know that we have the United CEO saying that he just wants to fulfill a quota. He just wants there to be more women and wants there to be more black people. And he's not concerned at first with qualifications. That is something that should alarm all of us, guys, honestly.
And when she says that, I'm certain a lot of women are going to hear that and be like, yo, wow, Candace don't love women anymore. Candace automatically assumes that all pilots are supposed to be men, bro. What's going on, Candace? What's going on? Please provide some context because you sounding real sexist right now. You sounding sexist and you're sounding racist, although you're a woman and you're black. But I can still call you that because you don't speak the way I speak. You don't think the way I think. You don't move the way I move. You're not fighting for the same things we're fighting for. Come on, sister, you call yourself black. How come you're not on our side?
This is what Charlie Kirk had to say in his defense on Twitter. He said, I made a logical statement. In 2023, 19% of United's pilot corps was minority or female, which was already the highest among any airline. United CEO Steve Kirby, that's the one that we showed you that was dancing in trans gear or cross-dressing, whatever you want to call it, bragged that the airline would mandate that their next pilot class would be 50% female and minority. A few questions. 1, are there enough candidates to fill the 50% quota? 2, why are 81% of United's pilots white men currently? Is it because they happen to be the best pilots? Should we just assume it's because woke United is secretly super racist? Or is it possible that white men simply tend to be more interested in flying than other groups? 3, if white men land the planes safely, what is the problem? 4, if hiring is based on merit, why aren't there more minority female pilots? He goes on in the tweet, but essentially what he is doing is he is doubling down, and he should. These are important questions to ask. I agree with my colleague, Matt Walsh, that in the future, there is going to be a horrific accident on a plane, and it is going to be because this is what is happening on the corporate level. They no longer are concerned with safety. They just want to make sure that it looks black enough, that it looks like there are enough females, that it looks woke enough, and that should terrify all of us.
That it looks woke enough. Now, the things that Charlie Kirk actually said, I wonder how many black people actually apply to be pilots and are turned away. I wonder how many blacks, in comparison to other races, actually go to pilot school and are turned away. I would love to know that. I'm certain there's a poll out there. I'm not going to do that live on the spot because yeah, I don't even know if you can find that. Is it possible you can find a poll? It probably isn't a poll out there, but at the end of the day, I see what he's saying. He's breaking it down. He was like, look, I stand by what I said. This is what I meant. And if you can look at this, but I still stand by what I said, Charlie Kirk. By you simply saying that and not having any context whatsoever, that soundbite, and you're foolish to believe otherwise, that soundbite can be used against you in the court of public opinion. And you know that, but you still decided to say it because sometimes stirring the pot works well for a content creator, or it works well for somebody who makes money doing this. Like, in order for my name to really bring along more money, or me to get more speaking engagements or this and that, I'm not saying that that's what his tactic is, but it's still the truth. The more I shake trees, you know what I mean, the more squirrel nuts are going to fall from that bad boy. If that makes any sense. But shout out to Candace for breaking it down. I really appreciate that, Candace. That was dope. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know about that one in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way to the next video. We about to move on to our next joint, which is going to piss some of y'all off. I know it. But I need for y'all to stand 10 toes down and give me your point of view, because it's important that you not run from a fight. We're not running from fights. No. We're not running from fights. Now, I played Thomas Sowell at first. All right. He's breaking down his position on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I played Candace Owens, where she mentioned what Charlie Kirk said about diversity, equity, and inclusion to him, what it meant to him. Because these guys are boots on the ground. They see what the left are saying all the time. They see what they're trying to pass in law. They see all these things. They hear the nastiest things said. And they're trying to make sense of it as well. But these individuals right here, they stand on the side of those people who are fighting for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I need for y'all to hear this. Don't run away from it. This is Stephen A. It's Stephen A. Smith. Y'all know who Stephen A. Smith is. And it's Roland Martin. This right here is about to blow your mind. All right. So let's go ahead and check this joint out. They are talking about, specifically, they're talking about Candace Owens. They're talking about Charlie Kirk. And I want y'all to hear exactly what they have to say. The reason why I'm showing y'all this is because 9 times out of 10, you would not have gone and watched it yourself. And if you'll sit there right now in the comments section and tell me that you would have watched it, you're BSing me. You're lying. You're lying to me. Before we move on, I want to say this. Go to the very first link inside my descriptions and purchase this book right here. It's a really good book. It's called The Ass Backwards Way to Move Forward. And this joint is really good. Trust me. A lot of y'all have been clicking the links, but only a little bit of y'all have been purchasing the book. I need for a lot more of y'all to purchase that book, man. It's going to be a blessing to you and your families. Once you read it, pass it on to your sons, your daughters, your friends. You can just go ahead and just give them the same book. You ain't got to get them to buy more books. Just pass that book on, pass it on, pass it on, pass it on, pass it on. Or you can just keep it in your car so that when you got some downtime, you're waiting at a store or something for whatever you're waiting for, you can just read that. And it takes you away from the daggone phone. Stop staring in that daggone phone all the time. Stop staring at your computer all the time. Sometimes you got to read books, bro. I got my man, or listen to books. I love Audible. If you're not on Audible already, I love Audible. Like, because even on Audible, yeah, there's a monthly cost for Audible. You pay like $15 per month. But once you get a book and you read it in its entirety, or you listen to it in its entirety, you get 2 credits to get 2 free books on top of that. It makes up for the price that you paid for the first book. And you'll end up reading like 4 books and getting like 16 books for free. It's crazy. It's crazy. But make sure y'all go inside the link below and check that out. And one more thing before we move on, I just want to say that if it's anybody out there that's thinking about growing a YouTube channel, if you have something on your mind, you got something on your heart, and you want to put something out there to the world, please hit me up with the word coach, all right? So that I can help you move forward with that, all right? And I will say I am going to try to get you to join my coaching group, but I will give you some free nuggets just to send you on your way with somewhere to start. You know what I mean? All right, so now let's get into it. Y'all told me y'all wouldn't leave. You told me you wouldn't be pissed off. As a matter of fact, share this with people and let's rock. We got these 2 gentlemen that's about to piss my community off. Already know it. Already know it.
You heard a nugget of what Candace Owens had to say, but let me play for you what the one and only Candace Owens had to say, piggybacking off of Charlie Kirk's assertions. Listen up.
But unfortunately, that is the reality of what happens when it comes to DEI. And what he is remarking on is true. I would be terrified if I got onto a plane and I saw a woman flying the plane. And I know that we have the United CEO saying that he just wants to fulfill a quota. He just wants there to be more women and wants there to be more black people. And he's not concerned at first with qualifications. That is something that should alarm all of us, guys, honestly.
Roland, before I even ask you the question, let me piggyback off of that to make sure that I'm giving proper context to her comments. Because
isn't it wild how they pull like little certain sound bites from videos and then they give their point of view without considering all of it? But let them jump into it. They're about to jump into it as if they completely understand where she's coming from, which they do not. They just understand that soundbite. They just heard that soundbite and said, we're going to run on that. We're going to, this is it. She's against women. And she's a sellout black woman because she's taken up for that white man that stands by what he said, which was racist against her people. that white man said something that was racist against her people because her people are only black people. That's how some black people are. Her people are only black people. No, my people are God's people. If you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity, and you are birthed by a person, then you are my people. Until you're not. When you show me that you have all this hate and vitriol in your heart, and you're all about debauchery rather than about solutions and love, then I don't want anything to do with you, right? Whether you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, it does not matter, right? My internet is internet.
After Charlie Kirk said this, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. She follows up by saying, I said the exact same thing on this show just a couple of weeks ago. I remarked that now, when I even am watching a commercial, if I see a commercial and I see a black person, a Hispanic person, an Asian person,
is beautiful,
my thought process is, did they just get this because of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, for those that don't understand what those letters mean? I no longer think that person is qualified. She said, it makes me upset that that's my thought process when I see a commercial and when I see a movie. Is this person actually even a good actor, or are they just checking a box? But unfortunately, that is the reality of what happens when it comes to DEI, and what is remarking on is true.
Now, before they even move forward, do you think that they're going to try to understand where she's coming from, or do you think they're going to say, nah, she's wrong and stupid, let's move on?
Your thoughts, Roland Martin. Give it to me.
First and foremost, these people have no idea, no real understanding of what DEI is.
Candace Owens has no understanding of what DEI is. Brother, Roland Martin, I already know that you're a brainiac. I know that you're extremely intelligent, man. But come on. You really think Candace Owens have no understanding of what DEI is? Candace Owens is smart as hell, and you're telling me she has no understanding simply because she has her point of view, which doesn't match yours? Come on, man.
But understand what the goal is. What you have is, and this is not recent, what it is to sully any African American or person of color, or even white women who are coming into these positions. We have been a nation. The nation was built for white men, white male landowners. And so there's been this constant fight for equality, for freedom. What did MLK say in his speech, April 3rd, 1968 at Mason Temple, the night before he was killed? Be true to what you put on paper. And so what you have now is you have folks who are scared to death of how America is changing. By 2043, America is going to be a minority of whites, majority people of color.
Bruh, that's because we continue to kill each other, man. We continue to kill each other. That's one. And we continue to allow as many illegal immigrants over to the country who are also minorities, and we're not doing it the proper way. So they're completely taking over as far as being the next minority in line. But on top of that, we vote for it. We vote for it. Every single thing that affects us getting smaller and smaller and lower and lower and lower on the totem pole is because we vote for it. But we're not going to consider that in this conversation because we only want to present our side, right? And I also agree, 1619, bruh, that don't tell me that America was for black people at that point. It doesn't. Not at all. That tell me that it was for the rich and the wealthy who were only white people at that time, white men, right? And white women didn't even get rights at that point. I get it. You ain't got to be slow in order not to, you know what's going on. But you got to say, if you want to say for understanding, then give them an understanding of everything. How do we get to this point where we're getting lower, where black people are getting smaller and smaller and smaller in number? How? Break that part down, because that's important that we break that part down. But one thing we're not going to do, if it goes against what we stand for, we're not going to break it down, because then we look foolish.
And so folks are freaking out. They're freaking out because this is about power. It's about money. And so what you've always had is, if you go back to the Black Freedom Movement, 1955 to 1968, King's assassination, affirmative action. When Nixon comes into the White House, Arthur Fletcher, they put that in place. Remember, LBJ gave a speech on that at Howard University before King was killed. And so it was, affirmative action. Well, we also know the greatest beneficiary of affirmative action has been white women. So they've always qualified. So they never use the qualifier qualified when speaking to somebody white. They assume they're qualified. But when it's anybody black or Latino or Asian, Native American or woman, are they qualified? Are they qualified? Now, you and I have been in the media business, and you and I know some white folks who have been hired, and we sitting here like,
yeah.
How the hell they got the job? How did they get the job? And see, they don't speak on that, but they want to cast doubt. So when we were in college, you must have got in because of affirmative action. Oh, I'm sorry. Whole bunch of y'all got into school because your mama was white and your daddy was white, and we weren't allowed to even go to these schools. But see, that's not how they want to view it. So what you now have is a well-funded, well-orchestrated attack on all of this. Christopher Rufo, a conservative who led the fight against critical race theory. This is literally what he tweeted, Stephen. And This is what he said. The goal is to have the public read something crazy in the newspaper and immediately think critical race theory. We have decodified the term and will recodify it to annex the entire range of cultural constructions that are unpopular with Americans. Now, that was his initial tweet. He later said that we have successfully frozen their brand, critical race theory, into the public conversation and are steadily driving up negative perceptions. We will eventually turn it toxic as we put all of the various cultural insanities under that brand category. So they went from critical race theory, remember that was in 2021, to drive the 2022 midterms. Now it's DEI. But it's all under the same banner because they want to brand anything that has been helpful for African Americans and others to succeed in this society as, race-based, not qualified, DEI, CRT, because it's all designed to scare white people because they are moving towards become a minority in this country.
And obviously, the numbers prove it from the standpoint that once upon a time, the white population in America was in the high 80s, obviously is dipped, and now it's at approximately at 60% and lowering. We're seeing more minorities, more Hispanics coming into the vote, into the country, obviously, and obviously that there's votes to take into consideration and who's going to manipulate the vote. I get what you're saying loud and clear, and obviously that just buffers your point. But let me play devil's advocate for Candace Owens in this regard. Looking at these statistics, commercial aviation pilot stats. That's what I'm reading from Roland Martin. 3.4% of U.S. airline pilots are black, 2.2% are of Asian descent, 0.5% are Hispanic or Latino, and women make up just 4.6%. So considering the scarcity of those numbers, right, combined with Candace Owens articulating that the head of United Airlines talked about making sure that diversity is a critical element of our hiring process. Does she not have a point in any way?
No.
Okay.
There's no point.
Why not?
Because again.
Okay, that's when you know somebody's ignorant. Okay, because you're just waiting to debunk what they're saying rather than hearing to understand so that you can join in the conversation. Here, these two gentlemen have the great opportunity to school a younger black woman who has a vast community of people who listen to her on a daily basis, and they can give her some information that she can carry on to her people that support her. Rather than doing that, though, you'd much rather just listen to everything she says and act as if she has no merit with anything, like she does no research, like she's not considering anything else that goes along with it, and you just disregard it. Stephen A. tried to throw him a bone. He would not take it because his whole point is to stand against you the entire way through. To stand against you the entire way through unless you believe and talk the exact same way I talk and believe. And that right there is ignorance. I don't care who you are. I want you to understand this. Listen, it's ignorance. All right? If you're not even just hearing just for a moment, just to see, okay, maybe what she's saying, I get what she's saying. I totally understand what she's saying. Just like I point out the fact that I understand what these guys are saying. I understand what they're saying. I get it. But it's two sides to consider. Well, it's like 3 or 4 sides to consider. But they're only considering, when you're only considering one side, we're going nowhere. We're going nowhere. Yeah, you're right, because there's some white people I know. And I'm like, how did they get the job? How did they get the job? Huh? I wonder how they got the job. Why are you in their business? If they got the job and you didn't, then get a job somewhere else. If you feel like I'm sorry, my daggone ears itching from these damn joints right here. If that's the case and you feel like you're being treated unfairly, then go work somewhere else or start your own business or do something where you feel like you're being valued rather than saying the whole race, the white people are just so excellent. And or you just saying white people aren't excellent. White people are trash and they're not smart, but they're always moving ahead of me when I'm great. I'm the best one here. We got to move 4, 5. We got to work 4, 5, 10 times harder in order to get the job. Come on, bro.
And what their goal is say, oh, see this diversity thing? Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's awful. Well, let's roll this thing back. If you took all those numbers together, about 80+% of all pilots in America are white.
Yeah.
We are white. Are white. They're white men.
Right.
So you're sitting there going, wait a minute. So because here's the whole deal. So now all of a sudden, we get a few women, a few black people, a few Latino people, a few Asian, a few Native Americans go, see, they're not qualified. I don't want to fly with them. I want to fly with them. But they don't question. See, this is the key. They don't question the qualifications of white men. They automatically assume, they must be qualified. And so it's utter nonsense. What you really have, and you don't know this because of media, you have individuals who are now saying, hey, we can't keep going to the old talent pool to find folk. We got to go to new places. And what's interesting is this here.
I just now read something. It says, I just now Googled, and you can feel free to do this too. I said, why are most pilots men? And it says historically it's because airlines didn't want to pay to train pilots. So they hired pre-trained pilots from the military. Think about that. These airlines, they didn't want to pay to train their pilots. So they hired pre-trained pilots from the military. Pilots from the military are usually male. If we're going to talk about history, we need to do it in a manner that's going to make sense. I mean, consider all factors. So we're going to sit there and say, oh, come on. If we look at the numbers, I mean, come on. Most of the men that's flying, they're white men. Look at history, bro. Come on, just look at history. We can settle that right now by just looking at history. Also, if you want to look at history, consider how many people over the years have been gaining more interest, black, white, or other, gaining more interest in becoming pilots themselves. What is supposed to happen will happen organically without us pressing the issue because of how we look on the outside. We don't have as much control over things as we think we have. God has all of the control. It's going to happen. It's going to move forward. All right? Things will level out. Things will equal itself out. We don't have to push forward something that simply because we feel like this particular group of individuals are disenfranchised or misrepresented, or, I mean, sometimes we do. Sometimes we got to extend a little bit of muscle. I get that. When it came to those civil rights leaders, I get that. Jesse Lee Peterson, he look at those as bad guys. I don't. I look at them as heroes. Because all that was shown to us was how we were being disenfranchised and beat on, and we couldn't get in this, and we couldn't do that, and we couldn't do this. And I'm talking about black people specifically. But if we are still in that same mentality, bro, we need to move the hell on. We need to move forward, man. We need to recognize that, wow, we're doing amazing things. Not only black people either, everyone. The fact that you look at everything from a black-white lens shows how ridiculous you are. All right? Simply because you're labeled as the voice of black people don't mean that you got to only see things as black and white. You have on blinders. All right? And when you have blinders, you can be cock black. You can be knocked the hell out and not see it coming because you're only focused on black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white. I think I said cock black. I think that was the wrong word I wanted to use.
Who has been the most ardent supporter of diversity, equity, inclusion? The United States military. When the Supreme Court was dealing with the affirmative action case, the military wrote a number of briefs stating that it is in the national security interest of America. And guess what happened? The Supreme Court ruled that the academies, the military academies, can continue the affirmative action, but not other public colleges and universities. So America, what you're saying is you want black bodies. You want Hispanic bodies, Asian American bodies, Native American bodies. You want people of color. You want our bodies for war, but you want to question it for corporate America, for media and education and all of this. But here's something also that's critical, Stephen. Okay. And this is was freaking the white folks out, and I'm being especially these conservative folks. The Black Lives Matter movement in the wake of the George Floyd death, we had massive protests across the world. That was the first time in American history that a black movement, and I'm saying that because there were many others involved, that a black movement, a majority of Americans supported it. You know what you had, Stephen? You had young white folks and Latinos, others who were demanding action and demanding change. That's what's scaring them. And so now it's, oh, no, we gotta change this thing because we can't have these non-minority folks all of a sudden standing up for this. So
my internet is internet.
We now gotta shift the conversation, and that's exactly what America has always done. Well, always.
The Black Eagle, Joe Madison says it best. He talked about cultural conditioning, and the reason why I bring those two words up is because I'm thinking about somebody like a Candace Owens, a black woman, saying what she said, understanding that she herself is an accomplished individual, and because she's accomplished, are people to assume if you took her words, people would use that as a license to dilute her accomplishments, to dilute her qualifications. And yet that seems to be something that really was not embraced by her. Roland Martin, how do you explain it? How do you explain that?
It's called a grift game, brother. It's a grift game. We know the grift game. You have always had certain black folks who are like, yo, I can get paid by these folks by hating on black people. With Stephen,
Bruh. It's a grift game, bruh. It's a grift game. How do I know it's a grift game? Because I play it. I'm really good at the grift game. He's telling you what he does. Candace is not saying that I played a grift game. Candace is telling you that I got here on my own merit. That's what Candace is saying. But based off of your argument, you and Stephen A's argument, you and Stephen A got to where y'all are simply because you're black. Stephen A and you, Mr. Roland Martin, and I have nothing but respect for these gentlemen, and I want y'all to understand this too. It's important that y'all understand this. I have immense respect for both of these gentlemen. I do. Regardless if they think how they think when it comes to certain things, I have a lot of respect for them. But I lose respect when they constantly downplay someone else's accomplishments and try to cake us all into that same downtrodden, We need white people. We need white America. We need the government in order to do well. We need, which is complete bull sugar honey iced tea. None of us, thank you so much now, DeVos, none of us would tell our children to believe in the system nearly as much as we're telling black people to believe in the system. Keep on fighting so they can give us, so they can make this necessary and make this and make this and make. We don't need that. I'm telling you, that's facts. We're extremely intelligent individuals, man. Candace is not telling y'all that I wouldn't have had my job if I weren't black. Because I'm black, now I have a job. So now I'm going to play with these white people's minds and use them in order to continue to move forward. No, that's what y'all are doing. Y'all are trying to play with the white people's minds and the country's mind and let them know that we can't do this without you. So we need for you to make laws and rules to help us move forward. In order for there need to be more diversity. Make sure every country, every company operates like that. Make sure every company is hiring, based off of diversity as well as everything else. I actually think we should stop writing our race on applications. I think we should stop writing our race on applications. I think that's unnecessary. I get it. It's good for studies. It's good for having documentation as to what's happening and looking back at history and being able to count a bunch of people and individuals. I get that, but I believe that we can do far better without even saying, why do I have to write that I'm black or white and I'm just here today gonna get a doctor's appointment? Why? I think that's foolish. I think that adds to this dumbness that we got going on right now with this whole DEI conversation. Is it a conversation worth having? I think it's a conversation worth having. But I think it's a conversation worth having, not a debate, not going into it just I'm just going to communicate my side and not listen to yours. No, that's not a conversation. That's not a conversation at all. That's a debate. I'm going to win this no matter what, and whatever you say is foolish, and I'm going to try to make you look dumb. Nah, that's not a conversation. And we're not going to move forward if we continue to approach matters like that.
I've had people over the years come to me and say, Roland, come to our side. And I'm going, hell no.
Right.
Because my side is humanity. It's a grift game. And so
it's a grift
Candace
game.
Is sitting here, the easiest people to get money from, and I'm just being frank, the easiest people are white conservatives. You know why? Because they love hearing a black person like Candace. So, man, they'll sit here and like, yo, we'll roll the money out. But see, Candace is not smart. First of all, the girl dropped out of college. Here's why she's not smart.
I ain't gonna say she ain't smart though.
No. Here's
no. See, you see that? You see that? Come on, Roland. He said that she's not smart, bro. The easiest people to get money from is white conservatives. If you're black, that's why we get so much money from. Okay, then how are most black people making their money? From white conservatives? Is that what you're saying? See, Sir Roland Martin, are you saying that that's why most black people are successful? Because they know conservatives that will support their efforts. Is that what you're saying? If that's not, that's clearly not what he's saying, but to make his point, he's going to stick on that. I'm going to stay right there. That's ignorant. It's ignorant as hell, man.
Well, here's why I'm going to say she's not smart. She's smart because she know the grift game, but and the reason I'm saying she's not smart, black conservatives who know her, who pull her aside and have told her, you need to get better educated on the issues. And so she knows who they are, but here's why she's not smart. When she's attacking women, saying, I said woman pilot, I'm not going to fly. So you see a woman engineer, are you not going to walk into a building? If you see a woman architect, are you not going to question that facility? If you see a woman head of security, are you going to question the security? What Candace also clearly doesn't understand, I mean, there's other different people.
When I look at the NBA right now, every time I look at the NBA and I see two male referees and one female referee, I already know what it is. It's written all on. It's written on the wall. The writing is on the wall. We know what it is already. Every single time you watch these sporting events, and you can watch in the Super Bowl, I'm certain that there's going to be one woman referee. It's because we feel like it needs to be diverse. It does not. It does not. I don't care. I don't care about little girls looking at the daggone football game and saying, oh, there's a woman out there. She's refereeing. I want to be just like her when I grow up. I don't care about that. Do not. I don't care about that. I don't. It's a game that they're playing. Man, come on, man.
Is that the reason we have today women who've been ascending is because of Title IX. The problem is most people think Title IX was about sports. It wasn't. It was to open the professional schools to women who were getting federal dollars. Now remember, you then ask, well, where's Title IX
thank
come
you,
from? It's a provision of the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
Thank you, Tough Topics.
Follow me here, I'm going somewhere.
I'm following you.
Black people fought to get the 1964 Civil Rights Act. If you are disabled and you love the 1996 American with Disabilities Act, you better thank Black people, because the American with Disabilities Act was passed as a result of a provision of the 64 Civil Rights Act. If you are Korean or Chinese and you get to vote in your native language, thank Black people, because that's the 1965 Voting Rights Act. When you look at now housing and you can live anywhere you want to, thank Black people, because that was a 1968 Civil Rights Act known as the Housing Act. If you are gay and lesbian, and you gay marriage, guess what? That's the 14th Amendment, Equal Protection Clause, one of the 3 Reconstruction Amendments, which was designed after the Civil War to also benefit African Americans.
Now, everything he's now naming right now, he's naming all of the different laws that went into place to positively affect African Americans because of how unfair they were being treated throughout the course of this country's this country's beginning. All right? And I ain't got no issue with them. I don't. So then you will say, Van, if you ain't got no issue with that, then how come you got an issue with this DEI thing? I don't have an issue with the DEI thing. I have an issue with the fact that we won't even have a conversation. I have an issue with the fact that we just completely write people off and disrespect them because they don't think like us and they don't talk like us. Like this information right here, he should have led with that rather than calling someone ignorant and stupid, uneducated. I think that's super, super ridiculous. All right. The stuff he's naming right now about all of the laws that were in place that a lot of people benefit off of that were not Black. All right. That were not Black. The reason why he's pointing this out is because he's saying that if this right here is pushed, it could affect far more people than the people it's for. And I get that, but you're also letting a bunch of people off the hook with this one. Other laws were they were necessary. They were necessary. And a lot of people probably thought those laws weren't necessary, but I think some of them were. I think some of them were, especially if a lot of people outside of them are able to benefit off of those laws right now. But how we communicate these issues is it's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. And we're still not holding people accountable. Like, we don't understand what this gives off. We don't understand that part, how this affects the psyche of those individuals who already think that everything should be given to them. This negatively affects them, but we don't care about that at all.
And so what Candace is by saying is now questioning women pilots. Well, let's not question all women. Well, what are you saying, Candace? Oh, you're the exception, but not everybody else. This is all about these fragile white men who can't handle the fact they now got to compete, Stephen. They got to compete. You and I, we know how we were raised. We were told you got to be twice as better.
To get half as much. To get half as much.
And the problem they have now is we are rolling up saying, no. We want fairness. Yeah.
I never taught my kids that you got to be twice as good, give half as much. I never taught my kids that. Ever. And all of my children are doing extremely well. Ever. Nobody ever told me that I got to be twice as good to get half as much. Nah, never believed that. Just try to be better than I was yesterday. Be better each day. That's it. But we're constantly teaching a group of individuals, a huge group of individuals, a whole community of individuals that this is what's so, this is what's necessary. And we know that that's not the case, man. And we always telling them that. I don't think that's the case. I'm sorry. That's just me. Will people look at me bad for saying that? Absolutely. Do I care? Nah, I don't.
Yes, we want equity. We want inclusion. We want a seat at the table. And they, and many of them, have been riding high for centuries, decades, making money, doing well. And
but
now
Roland,
all of a sudden, they freaking out, brother.
But Roland, I get what you're saying, but we've seen plenty of corporations dilute, if not flat out eradicate their DEI programs. Based on what you're saying, we were moving in a forward direction, but all of a sudden, especially in the aftermath of the George Floyd murder.
Absolutely.
But since that time, it's diluted to some degree. They've been eradicating DEI programs, DEI personnel. What's up with that?
And here's why.
Okay.
This right here, W.B. Du Bois' book, Black Reconstruction in America. This right here is Eric Foner's book, Reconstruction America's Unfinished Business. In the history of America, Black success has always been followed by white backlash. Reconstruction, 10 to 12 years, 1865. You all of a sudden go to the 1876 election, contested, the Great Compromise of 1877, now put into place, Jim Crow, which lasted 92 years.
He said, all Black success has been followed by white backlash because white people don't want Black people to succeed at nothing. Bruh, it was a time where this country was extremely bad against Black people. And a bunch of race hustlers want us to stay in those times so that we can continue to move forward. You want to talk about a grift game? That's a grift game. You want to talk about people who are constantly trying to hold the attention of those people who they benefit off the most. You are playing the grift game. You are playing that race game. You're a race hustler like crazy, man. And you're trying to point it. You ever heard of, like, when somebody is doing something that they want to blame you for, they project? What he's trying to say Candace is doing, he's projecting. Like, what he is doing, he's projecting that onto Candace, and he's projecting that onto any other Black person who believe the same as Candace. That's it. So this is what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to see this. He literally said, ever since the beginning of time, Black success was always followed by white backlash because you all don't like to see Black people succeed. Is there a history of certain things happening, like Black Wall Street and all these other things? Absolutely. And I would love for Roland Martin to go listen to or watch some Thomas Sowell conversations about this so that he can have a better understanding what really goes on, man. But let's continue. My internet is internet. Thank you so much, Ravenstone. I appreciate it. This is nice. Keep up the good work, my man. From housewife up north. She in the middle of nowhere. Thank you so much, Raven. I appreciate it.
Then all of a sudden, you go forward to the second Reconstruction, which was the Black Freedom Movement. That lasted 13 years, beginning on December 1st, 1955, going through King's assassination. What then happened? It's in the data. Okay, look. Y'all can go to restaurants now. Y'all can go to hotels now. Y'all can vote now. Can we be done with this stuff? And so, George Floyd, I was telling everybody, folks, this third Reconstruction needs to last a minimum of 20 years, and you got to address the money. Because in the first one, the money wasn't addressed. That was 40 acres and a mule. In the second one, money wasn't addressed. If you look at the last 5 years of King's life, he was focused on the money. Coretta Scott King said they killed my Martin when he started talking about the money.
That's right.
Now, all of a sudden, the George Floyd piece, corporations announced 40, 50, $60 billion in commitments. Many of them have not done it. But you had the white backlash. It's like Trump is right there, all of the MAGA folks. And so, hold up, what's going on? You know, they've gotten enough. Mm-hmm. And so now they're pulling back because of that white fear and, well, I don't want to take this side out. You got to have corporate leaders who have the guts to say, we cannot have a future if we are not appealing to all of America and not just white America.
I'm talking to not only an outstanding host, Roland Martin Unfiltered, more than 1.2 million subscribers, by the way. Major props to you for that. But I'm talking to a friend, somebody that I respect, that I know is far more knowledgeable on these subjects than I am. You brought up how they're fearful of this backlash. Perhaps that explains the following that Trump has. But in the same breath, what I would ask you is this. Shouldn't the fear reside with folks, whether they be on the left, whether they be on minority communities, etc., when we look at the momentum being gained by the former president, who's got 4 indictments against him, 91 counts. He could absolutely positively end up being a convicted felon and still being in the White House, which says something to me about the state of this country. So when you talk about the fear they may have, what about the fear we should have?
Well, here's the deal.
Why do y'all want people to have fear? Why y'all selling fear, man? What about the fear we should have? Tell them about the black fear that we should have because of Trump and the black fear. Bruh, I completely understand why Roland Martin has 1 million subscribers on his channel. He is selling, bruh, he get out there and sell he race bait all the time. All the time. This is his game. This is Roland Martin's game. And now Stephen A is playing into it too. Stephen A, what part of your success came only because you're black? Name any of that. Roland Martin, what part of your success came because you're black? Either one of you. Either one of you, because they want people to be fearful. In order to stop Trump, they need for you to be fearful. What about the fear we should have? Because Trump did this and he got 4 indictments and he's a fugitive on the run. And he could potentially be in the White House. They said nothing about what type of president he was. They said nothing about what type of leader he is. They said nothing about that. All they're talking about is the things that the left are pitting on Trump, and they're not sticking. So since the left's plans are not working, black people should be fearless. I mean, be fearful. Like, we should be fearful. Look at his eyes. Like, what about the fear we should have? Those are slave eyes right there. What about the fear we should have? Huh? Tell them about how fearful we should be, boss. We should be real fearful. We should be running and hiding from Massa and the dogs. Come on, bro.
Remember, he won following 8 years of Obama. He was the white backlash to 8 years of Obama. In my book, White Fear, I've been fixated on this since 2009 because there was a study there was a poll that was taken, Stephen, and the question was asked: are you optimistic about the future of America for your children?
He says so. Black success. Obama was black success. Trump was white backlash. He just said that. Obama was black success. Trump was white backlash.
Every group, Black, Latino, Asian American, Native American, majority said yes. Only one group was less than a majority, white America. September 2016, the question was asked, another poll, another survey. Are you optimistic about the future of America economically for the next 10 years? Black people, lowest wealth, highest optimism. Latinos, second lowest wealth, highest optimism. Guess who has the highest wealth in America? White people. Guess who had the lowest optimism? White America. So now you got to go behind that and say, wait, but hold up. How y'all got the highest wealth, but you got the least optimism? It is because the winds are shifting. They don't control everything. And so what Trump does, Trump comes in says what he wants. He's able to pull the covers back. And so, y'all can say what y'all want to. There used to be a penalty for dancing with neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Now they're welcome. Remember, Trump had lunch with one of them at Mar-a-Lago.
Trump had lunch with one of them at Mar-a-Lago. Joe Biden actually spoke at one of their funerals. You gonna bring that up? No, we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that one. All right, let's just keep it moving.
You got white nationalists who are members of Congress right now who speak at white nationalist conferences. Mm-hmm. Now there's no longer a penalty on the Republican side. But this issue we're talking about, Stephen A., is not left-right. Because you got some white liberals who got a problem with black advancement. You got some white liberals who got a problem with DEI for the very same reason. And so when you step back, and this is what a Candace Owens won't do, this is what a Charlie Kirk won't do, you step back and go, wait a minute, 90% of the people who are leading ad agencies, where they represent $340 billion annually, are white. You look at the CEOs.
All right, so enough of him. So that's what I wanted to show y'all, man. I showed y'all Thomas Sowell talking about DEI. I showed y'all Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk talking about DEI, and I'm showing y'all Stephen A. and Roland Martin talking about DEI, because they're all important to this conversation. They are all important. Don't look at one as less important. They have different agendas. They all do. They all get their news from someplace else. All right. I doubt Charlie Kirk get his news from the same place that Roland Martin and Stephen A. get their news. Period. We clearly see that. All right. And he's, it's one thing we need to do is I didn't hear anything about God. I didn't hear anything about the favor of God. I didn't hear anything about his grace, his mercy, none of that. All right. All I heard was fearful, backlash. They want to stop. Like, just what they're doing is selling fear. They're promoting fear. In order to get what we want, we have to promote fear. We also have to address the fact that Nick Fuentes was at Mar-a-Lago having lunch with Trump. And you telling me that they not racist? But anytime you say something about Joe Biden speaking at someone's at like a high up guy who was considered to be, I don't know if he was considered to be Nazi or one, part of the white supremacist groups or something like that, but he was a good friend of his, and he presented at his funeral. That's a little bit more personal. That's far more deep than a damn lunch. It is. And the fact that Nick Fuentes was there, he wasn't even invited. Nick Fuentes wasn't even invited to Mar-a-Lago. But we're not going to mention that. That's neither here nor there. But I thought it was important that y'all heard that. And I thank you guys for hanging in there with me and talking about these important conversations, because it's necessary. It's most certainly necessary. All right? So y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way to the next video. All right? Much love to you all. I really appreciate you guys. And don't forget, hop inside of our playlist and see some of our other videos we have. We have music, an abundance of music reactions, comedy, TV shows, even like All in the Family or the Jeffersons. And we have obviously politics, different people like that's not politics, like Thomas Sowell and whatnot, and Larry Elder. I want y'all to go and jump into those playlists and check them joints out. All right, whenever you get a moment. You ain't got to do it right now, but whenever you get a moment. Also, for anybody that's looking to grow on YouTube, please hit me up with the word coach. Shout out to everybody that has been hitting me up. We've been meeting a whole lot of amazing people from all over the world. Yeah, that's so dope, man. And the fact that some of you who are so well learned and so educated and so successful in your own right would allow me to coach you and teach you some things. I really appreciate that. That means a lot, for real. So thank you for that. Anyone else that wants to learn how to do this, hit me up with the word coach. And don't forget about the book that's inside of my descriptions. Go ahead and check that joint out as well. Now, we got one more video that I want to check out with you all. This is a fun one. I saved this one for last for you guys because we're about to have a good time with this one. I'm not even going to interrupt it a whole lot. This comes from Black Conservative 24. Shout out to him. Thank y'all so much for clicking play. Hopefully you click that like button as well and subscribe if you like what you're about to hear. And I'm saying all this stuff for the videos that I'm going to be posting later. All right? All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. And yeah, again, guys, thank y'all for spending a little bit of time that y'all have with me on your Sunday, because a lot of you guys have plans. It's the time for rest and all this other stuff. And the fact that y'all are joining me, I appreciate it. So without further wait, here we go. This one right here is a black woman goes on a rant about the illegal immigrants getting a free ride, because that's exactly what they're getting. Let's go.
All right. The math is just ain't mathing right now. So let me get this straight. Immigrants that has never worked in this country, never lived in this country, never paid not one goddamn bill in this country, they are receiving 3 bands monthly. And for all you old folk that don't know what bands is, that's money. 3,000 monies. I said monies. Free health care. Free food. Room and board.
Disrespectful.
And free housing.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Americans has to go to work, have to pay bills, have to pay for taxes, have to file taxes, have to pay for groceries, and have to pay for rent. Knowing good and goddamn well, all of this shit is rising higher than mother blood fucking pressure. Not only that, it is officially illegal to be homeless.
Wow.
But here's the crazy part, though. All them shit the immigrants is getting. Oh, we ain't getting that shit.
My internet is internet.
So I think I speak for every English-speaking mother American. That includes black, white, Asian, anybody that was born in America. I think I speak for every mother. That includes the fucking kids. When I say what in the blue is this? Crazy part about it is the veterans that busted they motherfucking asses, ate the nastiest of fucking food, lost every bit of their fucking mind, have lost limbs, seen they friends become homeless. So, if an American becomes homeless, we get put in the slammer. Okay. If an immigrant is homeless, they get free health
My internet is internet.
care, $3,000, free housing, and all that other bullshit. I got one question. If you're angry and you know it, clap your fucking hands.
What a mess, man. Now please listen to what this man here has to say. 95-year-old Korean War veteran.
She said, if you're angry and you know it, clap your mother effing hands. All right, so now let's listen to this war rat. Let's go, man. She was preaching though.
It was very disgraceful what they did to the people in Island Shores. They gave us time to get out, but they never said when, and they never said they were going to get us out. And then one day, there's a thing on the board, a notice on the board, you gotta be out by March 15th. I think that gave us like a month and a half to find out where we're gonna go. I thought my suitcases were gonna be on the curb because I'm not that fast. If it wasn't for my daughter, they would have been on the curb.
Wow.
But that's what it happened, and that was it. I said, no, you're not moving me. And they said, yes, we are. And everything was done behind closed doors.
Yeah.
We didn't have a chance to actually make any attempt to stop them because there wasn't enough time.
You can thank Democrat for that. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. God bless you. Catch you on the next one. Trump 2024.
God bless you too, brother. If New York is going that hard and being that difficult and just being that disrespectful to their own citizens, man, y'all got to say something about that. Y'all got to. Y'all got to speak up about that. For real. Ain't no way in the world they kicking out veterans. They kicking out veterans, putting them out there on the street in order to move in illegal immigrants. Are you freaking out of your mind? Man, I would have went crazy, bro. I would have lost my nugget. I'm telling you that right now. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments below. If you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van. Now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside the Patreon as well. Y'all have been amazing per usual. Love y'all. See you on the next broadcast. Peace. Y'all are dope. And also, before I leave, I want to say this. Thank y'all so much, everyone, for your commentary. Thank you for being polite and respectful inside of the chat. Thank you for showing up. I don't go live a whole lot, but the fact that you saw that I was live and you clicked that, thank you so much. Make sure y'all watch the videos once they're edited and posted as well, which won't be today, probably throughout the course of the week. But I really appreciate you guys looking out for us, all right? And thank you again for supporting your channels. All of your favorite content creators that you enjoy, the best thing you can do for them is to watch their videos. Watch their videos, watch their videos, watch their videos. That's the best you can do, all right? Not even spending money. I'm not even talking about super chats or Patreons or none of that other stuff. If you click their videos when they post them and you watch them through this entirety and you even comment, that right there is far more than enough. And if you haven't hit the like button for this video yet, because I'm surprised it did not hit 1,000 likes, which is cool. That's straight. You know, I ain't got no issue with that. But I would appreciate it if you did hit the like button because that would be absolutely phenomenal. All right? And anybody that want to learn how to do this YouTube stuff, hit me up. Hit me up, all right, with the word coach. Here's my information right here. Hit me up with the word coach so that we can move forward, learn some amazing things together. And the first conversation that we have is completely on me. All right? Let's wrap. See what we can do. See if we can do some amazing things. Enjoy my group as well so that they can push you to be your best self on any of these platforms. All right? All right. Again, guys, love y'all. Thank you to all of my mods. I really appreciate you guys pulling up and helping me out as much as you guys do. It means a lot to me. And any other content creator that you guys are helping out, I'm certain it means a lot to them as well. All right. Y'all be easy. Enjoy your football, your Super Bowl today. And hopefully your favorite team wins. I know that can't be true for everybody because only one is going to win. But see y'all.